They're not coming. Waiting for rescue on the roadside of life. An evolutionary analysis of the reason relationships leave you feeling ditched today and how to adapt your way to the good life. Read by the author, Sheila Robinson-Kiss. Chapter 11, Your Trip from London to Japan, Getting Over It. Principle 1, the mother who gave birth to you is not God. Do not make your parents or anyone in your life gods. Parents are simply human beings making their way in the world. Do not allow their missteps to define your walk through life. Life is absolutely crazy. It's like a poker game. You never know what cards you'll be dealt. The deck is constantly being shuffled and reshuffled, with the dealer ever ready to issue you a new hand. In the meantime, all of us must play the hand we're dealt. And with a little luck and perseverance, the odds do level out, and anyone, I mean anyone, can win. I've seen it a million times. I've heard of those who were being dealt a bad hand in life, but the little guy who survived this deal takes the cake. A mere 12 days after birth, a baby is abandoned on a cold slab of ice to fend for himself for 8 weeks. Could you live through it? 70% of harp seals have been doing that for thousands of years. Mama gives her babies 12 days of care and she is off to go mate again. If they can survive for 8 weeks after losing half their body weight, only then are they mature enough to swim and hunt for their own food. It seems so cold-blooded, but it takes all kinds in nature. And on the opposite side of the street, there's a mother octopus who will routinely eat off her own arm for more sustenance to care for her babies. After she gives birth, she often dies. A human being can reach full developmental maturity and still remain on the homestead, being fed and cared for. If the same man or woman were an elephant, the party would be over by age 2. When we stop to compare and contrast the evolutionary track of all species, the variations in how nurturing and parenting are defined is vast, even overwhelming. There is only one common theme that rings true across all species. Regardless of the place, time, and circumstances surrounding birth and the assignment of our parents, we are all presented with an opportunity to survive, and in some cases surpass expectation, defy the odds, thrive, and knock the ball out of the park. If you're among the millions and millions who had a rocky start, and you're waiting for your parents or anyone else to rescue you from the state of resentment and sadness, please note this well, they're not coming. They're not. Polar bears eat their cubs when there's no food around. Be grateful that you didn't wind up a snack for your mom and go claim your life. You are more than who and where you came from. The start of a story is only one page in a very long book. Ultimately, your parents are vessels that are designed to support you for a certain space of time, no different than a Boeing 747 carrying precious cargo from London to Japan. If the ride is bumpy, the precious cargo may get damaged. That said, a diamond has value, even if it's scraped, chipped, or covered in mud. Furthermore, the diamond is owned by the creator of the plane, not the pilot. God is the creator. You belong to the creator, period. The good Lord places his trust in our parents and grants them free will with the expectation that we'll be brought up in love with honor and respect. A fair number of mothers and fathers have abused that privilege. It's not your fault if the plane that carried you from London to Japan was flying with a half-fueled engine and busted navigation equipment. The trip may have been frightening and filled with turbulence, but that leg of the trip is over. And what matters now is that you get the hell off the plane, rinse and shine your diamond, and catch the connecting flight. Don't miss it. This time, however, you get to fly the plane. Get your head together and avoid a crash landing. Rare jewels. Diamonds are produced all over the world in many different environments. Why do we insist otherwise? We're the same. There is more than one way to become a diamond and evolve into a balanced, healthy, whole adult. And a rough childhood is one of the best avenues. In his Newsweek article, Best Practices for Raising Kids, Look to Hunters and Gatherers, Jared Diamond, a scientist and Pulitzer Prize winner, writes, among the Martu people of the Western Australia desert, the worst offense is to impose on a child's will, even if the child is only 3 years old. The Paraha Indians consider children just as human beings, not in need of coddling or special protection. In Everett's words, they are treated fairly and allowance is made for their size and relative physical weakness, but by and large, they are not considered qualitatively different. The style of parenting has resulted in producing very tough, resilient adults who do not believe anyone owes them anything. Citizens of this nation know that each day's survival depends on their individual skills and hardiness. Eventually, the children do learn that it's in their best interest to listen to their parents from time to time, but they survive. I don't necessarily wish the same rocky start on anyone, but there is an opportunity, just as a forest fire comes through and clears to land. There's unlimited potential for success, strength, wellness, and creativity to be born from a tragic or hurtful childhood experience. I've written of my childhood experience in other books and articles. And from time to time, a retreat or lecture participant will ask me how I feel about those experiences today. My answer is always the same. I wouldn't choose it, but I wouldn't change it either. I believe that God gave me the perfect parents and step-parent that I needed to evolve into the advocate, mother, friend, and loving woman I am today. I got what I needed from them. And I make this statement in love and out of respect for their evolution and mine. For without these experiences, I could not have written this book, nor possess the frame of reference I need to assist others on their own evolutionary path. Programming shame. According to Stephanie Doan and a team of psychologists, many people are extremely vulnerable to overt and covert suggestions that shape their behavior. Children who become adults one day are no different. This team published these findings in a paper that is widely regarded as one of the most important findings of our time. Behavioral priming. It's all in the mind, but whose mind is the title of the publication. What they discovered was the mere sight of words that remind people of being old, such as slow, sick, and cranky, caused them to literally walk slower. They measured the rate at which the experiment participants walked before and after they saw the words. The experimenters were unaware that the pace of their strides would be measured. With remarkable clarity, the study revealed the powerful link between suggestion, programming, and behavior. How have you been programmed? How have you continued to program yourself? We have unconsciously done a disservice to the men, women, and children who have suffered the duress of a neglectful and abusive childhood. We suggest that they are wounded animals to be pitied as a result of existing in or enduring harsh conditions while coming of age. When war heroes return home from a long, weary battle, we meet them with celebrations and parades in the streets. They're considered victorious survivors who have earned a badge of honor for valor on the battlefield, and rightfully so. I suggest we bring the same spirit of enthusiasm and empowerment to the lives of men, women, and children who have been scarred by the emotional wounds of ill-equipped parents, and yet go on to lead brilliant lives of warmth and contribution to humanity. How many clients have I sat with that view themselves as broken and have the full force of mental programming of the years that they've received to back it up? A 43-year-old financial analyst and mother of 3 in therapy for low self-esteem said, "I'm one of these broken people out here, the kind that you hear about on TV. My parents broke me and I can't turn the corner." She went on to share her belief that she was unlovable and ill-prepared to handle the rigors of motherhood. This woman had been married for 17 years, built a career from nothing, and was sharing what could be a beautiful life with a supportive husband and 3 fun, outgoing, smart teenagers. When I met her family, her theory of being unlovable and ill-equipped to parent was just blown apart. What she was living in were the shadows of a terrible childhood that had long since ended. I had compassion for her, but not pity. I do not feel sorry for you or this woman or anyone else who is in the midst of an extended pity party over an unhappy childhood. If this offends you, close the book now. Congratulations, you made it halfway through. Close the book, because you won't like what's coming next. Many a man has lost a brightly lit future because of the insistence on gripping a dimly lit past. If your childhood broke you, it only means you have work to do, no different than a plumber fixing a busted pipe or a mechanic repairing a faulty engine. If I sound as though I'm minimizing the issue, please someone tell me what good maximizing it will do. A woman thought she was drowning in the ocean. She began to kick and scream, "Oh, dear Lord, I'm going under." She panicked and did just that. When the lifeguard jumped in to save her, he said, "Ma'am, if you'll just calm down and stand up, you'll see you're drowning in 3 feet of water." The woman was 5'9". Standing up and calming down, we can find the solutions to save ourselves. There is a multi-billion-dollar industry built on and sustained by making you feel broken and inadequate. I mean, seriously, all of us can't be broken and inadequate, because if we were, we'd be too messed up to buy into the hype and just sleep on park benches nearby. Shame and brokenness are programmed in the psyche early. Perhaps we have seasons or phases of broken inadequacy. We crack like Humpty Dumpty, then we put ourselves back together again. The problem is there is a shortage of yes, I can. And yes, I am programming in the world. Yes, I can make it happen. Yes, I am talented. Yes, I can create this for my life. We must learn to reprogram and regenerate our hearts and minds daily, particularly if our early programming was faulty. I feel your pain if your launch was less than smooth. I mean, really, do you think I got into this line of work to amuse myself? There's a joke that says that the best dentists, they have the worst smiles as children. Understand that we all reach a point in our evolution where suffering is optional. But I'll be damned. I'll be damned if I make it, if it makes any sense, to walk through a version of hell and then start playing with matches after. Whatever work you need to do to resolve your relationship with the demons of your past, it must be done so that you can reclaim your life. In my client's case, resolving her issues with the demons of her past involved taking time out of her life to look at her childhood with fresh eyes and give herself permission to move on and heal. The work was challenging, essential, and worth it. During her emotional excavation, what she unearthed was the pain of a little girl living with 2 workaholic, emotionally shut down parents. And no amount of sleepless nights and feelings of resentment could change that. It was over. And she was left with but one decision: stay in this place and exist inside of a useless relic, or take the strength I've earned over the years and walk boldly into my life.